Please welcome to the stage health and wellness guru, Sonia Jhas.
Hi. Is this on? Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. What a dramatic introduction. I want to wake up to that every day instead of waking up to my 4-year-old who's like, Mom, I don't want to eat oatmeal. Can I have Lucky Charms instead? It's not a good start to my day every day. So thank you for the warm introduction. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, you guys are so hardcore. I was downstairs trying to slap on a little bit of makeup, and I could hear the cheering all the way from 3 levels below. So keep up the energy. And if at any point in time you're I don't know, this is kind of getting a bit dry, I'd rather just drop and do burpees now. Someone just signal me, we can turn this into a boot camp. Nothing about this needs to be complicated today. So you keep me posted on what you need, because I understand that I'm kind of in the way of lunch. Is that it? It's me, and then there's a little bit more, and then there's lunch? Okay, well, this is gonna be a really solid attempt to compete with carbs. I'm gonna do it. But if at any point in time you're just stop talking, let's work out a bit, and then I need to eat, you let me know. As you know, my name is Sonia, and I am a health and wellness expert, which is just a really vague way of saying that I really like exercise. I actually wasn't always in the health and wellness industry. I actually started my career like a good Indian girl with long hair, working as an executive at IBM, and needless to say, my parents were very proud. And then I made a bit of a pivot, and I decided I was gonna switch careers entirely, quit the corporate world, pursue an entrepreneurial route, and kind of pursue my passion, which was health and wellness. Now, when I say passion, it's not actually because I grew up being really positive and motivated to eat well and live a healthy life. Actually, it was the complete opposite. Now, as most girls, sadly, my youth was spent yo-yoing from kind of chunky to kind of thin to super chunky to hanger thin and everything in between. I wasn't born particularly thin, but I did learn very early on that I too could fit myself into a snazzy size 0 if I made myself suffer enough. Sometimes that involved dieting, sometimes that involved exercise. Most of the time it was aggressive dieting and exercise. And I spent a lot of time on Google, because Google started when I was I don't know, I think in grade 9 or something. I know that sounds crazy. I'm totally dating myself here, but when Google kind of first came out and most people were interested in boys, I spent all my time Googling the secrets of weight loss. Does fruit make you fat? Is fasted cardio good for you? Will I turn into the Hulk if I lift heavy weights? It was an ongoing hobby of mine because I was desperate to look like the girls in the magazine. And yet, no matter how many times I came at the problem from a different solution, I always led myself right back to the same spot, which was super hungry and on my way back to a bigger size. And the cycle continued for years. From 13 to 24, I would essentially over-exercise, deprive myself from everything, only to then fall off the wagon, rebound back to my original size, and it happened again and again and again. And you would think but it's all about moderation, and duh, Sonia, why didn't you know that? Well, I'm pretty type A, and moderation has never been my forte. I also, over the years, dabbled in anorexia. There was a time that I only ate 5 saltine crackers a day. Don't tell my mom, she still doesn't know that. I dabbled in bulimia for most of my university career. That didn't work out so well. It's really not good for your teeth. And so there was a lot of really intense struggle for about 10 to 11 years of my life. Until one day, I got to my breaking point. I just could not take looking in the mirror and hating what I would see looking back at me. The constant negative self-talk, wishing I looked different, never feeling good enough, it was eating away at my soul. And one day I woke up and was like, this can't be what life is about. Constantly fighting this war against my body, wishing it was something else, trying everything I can to make myself into something I'm not, only to constantly feel like I'm failing at that one really challenging task. And so I gave up. I decided enough with the negativity, enough hating myself, enough beating myself up for not looking like the girls in the magazines. And let me tell you, this was before Instagram. And I got to the point one day where I said, you, Sonia, unless you want to do this for the rest of your life, unless this is the life you want to live and how you want to feel about yourself, you have to start to do things differently. And I started from the beginning. I spent time actually reteaching myself the fundamentals of fitness and nutrition. I actually started to think about mindset and positivity and the inner self-talk that was constantly playing in my mind. I read a lot of self-help books. And I got help. I really did. From my peers, from my family. I reached out. I got support. And I started to come at the journey from a place of positivity. I began focusing on things like my strength in the gym instead of my size. I began to focus on eating better and more than less in my life. And it was all about trying to figure out how to make myself the best version of me physically and mentally. And when I started to focus on the mental piece and the physical piece and I brought them together, an amazing thing started to happen. Every day that I started to kind of get that momentum going and see week over week that progress was being made, I started to feel more in control. I started to feel more aligned. I started to feel more like Sonia. And I don't think I ever really knew who Sonia was, because Sonia was a daughter. Sonia was supposed to be somebody who was going to be in the corporate world. Sonia was supposed to marry like a really successful Indian guy. Sonia was supposed to do a whole bunch of things to mark the boxes so that she would satisfy everybody else's standards. And yet I got to the point somewhere through this health and wellness journey for myself where I was like, you know what? You, Sonia, exactly as you are in this moment, are enough. And your only job for the rest of your life is to keep doing things that make you feel like you're aligned and like you're yourself. And the most ironic part about all of this is that when I started to focus on my health and well-being, not how skinny I was, not the size of my jeans, not if I had a muffin top, not if somebody else was fitter than me, I actually achieved a healthy body that looked and felt like what I had always wanted. It was right there. I had just been beating myself down for years, for decades, coming at it the wrong way. And it was amazing because one day I woke up and the war was over. And I felt like I had uncovered this like magical secret. This whole sort of epiphany moment came to me where I was like, we're all doing it wrong. And everybody needs to know that the on again, off again, all or nothing approach is not the answer, no matter what they tell you in the magazines, no matter what you see on TV. There is no juice cleanse that's gonna make you feel good about yourself. And if you don't try your best to start to cultivate self-worth and self-love from within, it doesn't matter what size you are. It doesn't matter what your body looks like. You will constantly feel like you're at war with your body. And so I do have a few light takeaways, because again, I know we've got lunch coming up. The first thing is that yes, fine, we all know that calories are important and calories matter. Food gives us energy, that's great. But it's really about starting to connect with your body, actually tuning in and being able to listen to what your body is trying to tell you. Are you hungry? Do you know what it feels like to feel hungry? I don't know about you guys, but I eat for all sorts of reasons. I'm stressed, it's raining outside, my daughter's being annoying, my husband's being annoying, I need something sweet, I'm about to have that time of the month. There's 7,000 reasons that I eat. Very few of them oftentimes have to do with hunger. And yet over the years, I've actually had to reteach myself to connect with the feeling of hunger and to listen to what my body is trying to tell me. Is it tired? Does it need more food? Do I feel vital? And if not, why? And it sounds kind of silly, but so many of us spend most of our lives ignoring what it is that our body is trying to tell us, because as women, we're only supposed to eat 1,200 calories because otherwise we're probably going to be too big. I don't know who said that. I don't know who in the media decided that 1,200 calories is the right number. 1,200 calories is insane unless you're a 5-year-old girl. I don't think we have any 5-year-olds in the audience, do we? No. Nobody should be eating 1,200 calories. So try your best to get rid of that messaging and to start to focus on connecting with how your body really feels. The second thing I'll say is that comparison is the worst. And I feel bad, I really do, because social media is traumatizing in so many ways, and we love it and we hate it, and I know that we're in charge of what's on our feed and we should know better and we should only be following things that are empowering to us, but it's so easy to get sucked into the rabbit hole. And I've been guilty of it many times. I actually just came off of a social media hiatus myself earlier this year because I just couldn't stomach it anymore. I needed a break. I was getting wrapped up in that narrative of never feeling pretty enough, never feeling good enough, never feeling smart enough, never feeling successful enough because somebody had a better picture, somebody got more likes, somebody had more engagement, and it was just sucking my soul. So I took a break. And don't be afraid to take a break because nothing happens. Nobody abandons you. My following is healthy, it's still there. But I took a break, and it was important for me to see that even to the best of us, even for those of us who are doing all of the work and who are really putting that time and energy into making sure that we are not falling prey to comparison, we get sucked back in. If you see something that looks too perfect, it's probably not real. And if you are following people on social media that are making you feel bad about yourself, you gotta unfollow them. Whether it's about your body, whether it's about your career, whether it's about anything else, a relationship, social media is a beautiful thing, but when it doesn't feel good, you gotta take a step back. The third thing I will say is that it's very easy to feel like quick fixes are the solution. You're just gonna clean up your eating for a couple weeks, and then once you look the way you want to, you'll get back to normal and it'll be okay. It doesn't work that way. No matter what you're doing with your body, quick fixes, drastic solutions, drastic measures, they don't work. Even if you want them to, even if they do work in the short term, because you guys are all blessed with wonderful metabolisms at this point in time that will slowly slow down as you get to my age. And it's sad. It really is. But while your metabolisms are working the way they're supposed to, sure, you can achieve quick results. But the point is not to deprive yourself of all the things you love just to look the way you want to for a brief little period. Because one day, you'll get a whiff of a burger. You'll smell it and you'll be like, oh my God, I forgot how much I love burgers. And then instead of eating one burger, you'll eat 15 burgers, and it'll just be the start of a whole messy spiral, and it happens every time and nobody needs it. The point is not to rob yourself of the things you love, but to figure out how to incorporate them into your life so that you can still live and enjoy. I love muffins. It makes no sense. Who loves muffins? People love cupcakes and chocolate cake and all the other things, I have a strange obsession with muffins because it's kind of like a bagel and cake in one. Does that make any sense? It is, I guess. Yes, right? Who's with me on the muffin side? Yes, thank you. Can you tell I'm ready for lunch? Right, so I love muffins, and you better believe that I eat them. And it's okay. I've learned that it's okay. I don't need to have 15 muffins, but I also don't need to not have muffins. Because that's what life is about, figuring out how to bring balance from the inside out. And finally, I will say that I think really, at this stage, when you're all beautiful, and you're all young, and you're all vital, and you're all full of energy, if you can slowly start to work with your body, instead of against it. If you can slowly start to appreciate all that your body can do and work on yourself to build your fitness, to build your strength, to be able to marvel at the fact that you can do man push-ups. I don't even know why they call them man push-ups. Toe push-ups, when they're like, well, if you want to do it because you're a girl, you can do it from your knees. Or if you're a dude, you can do it from your toes. Absolutely not. We can all do push-ups from our toes. There is nothing complicated about this. You just need to start working on building some strength. And the more strong you feel, the more empowered you feel. And one of the greatest tools that I've found in my life for managing my mental health, for staving off depression, for managing my eating disorders has been exercise, not because I'm trying to look a certain way, but because it makes me feel powerful. I love seeing what my body can do. I love watching my body progress week over week. And it's not linear. You're not always going to be perfect. You're not going to be going to the gym on a regular schedule. You're not going to be working out at home on a regular schedule. There are going to be ebbs and flows. But if you can embrace the journey as something that you're doing for yourself because you want to feel strong, you want to feel healthy, you want to feel in control, and you want to see all the amazing things that your body can do, then exercise is actually something that isn't punishment. And no, you don't need a gym membership. And no, you don't need to do 2-hour workouts. I work out from home 3 times a week, 20 to 30 minutes. That's about it. I used to be a girl who went to the gym twice a day, 2 hours each session. That's 4 hours a day. And still was fighting against her body all the time. So if you can shift the narrative, and if you can ask yourself, what do you really want? Do you want to be skinny? Or do you want to feel proud of your body? Is it about how thin you are? Or do you want to feel confident in your clothes? Is it about the fact that so-and-so looks better than you do in a bathing suit? Or is it about the fact that you feel like you deserve to uncover your potential from the inside out? And if you can get clear on what it is that's really driving you, I think you'll really find that the journey doesn't have to be so mean. You don't have to constantly be telling yourself that you're not good enough, because you are good enough. Exactly as you are. And you define that standard for yourself. It's nobody else's standard of beauty. It's just your own. And I had to learn that the hard way. After 26 years, you know how unnecessarily gutsy it felt to shave off my hair? I cried for months before I made the decision, because I thought, well, I don't know. I mean, girls don't have short hair, and then what if I don't look good, and what if people think differently of me, and my parents are going to hate it, and I don't know, I'm not going to look conservative, or there was a lot of unnecessary pressure wrapped up in my hair. And then I cut my hair and was like, well, that was a waste of time. It's so easy. I can just wash it and go, like today. And so you have to ask yourself, these small, simple shackles that you're keeping on yourself around your body, around your beauty, around what you feel like, around what you look like, whose voices are in your head? Are they yours? And if they are yours, is there a way for you to work on making them kinder and gentler and more supportive? And can you do that for your friends? One of the best things is having somebody to talk to about this sort of thing, having an accountability partner, somebody who understands what you're hoping for, somebody who understands what you're dreaming for, and somebody who can tell you that you're doing okay. It's hard to be your own cheerleader all the time. It's exhausting. There's very little time left after you've dealt with school and homework and parents and things and relationships and all the other stuff. There's very little energy left to be patting yourself on the back saying, hey, you know what? You're doing a good job. But you are, and if you can rely on family and friends for support to constantly be and reinforcing what it is that you know that you're doing for yourself that's so meaningful and so healthy, I think you'll find that the journey feels less challenging and less scary and less lonely. So with that, now I'm gonna make you stand up, and now I'm gonna make you drop and give me 50 burpees. Are we ready? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Although, I don't have to be kidding if we wanna do it. No, we're not gonna do burpees today, and burpees do not have to be a part of the equation. I wanna thank you guys so much for listening to just a little bit of wisdom that I had to share. Thank you. Thank you so much. Amazing. If there's any questions that you guys have around my personal journey, yes, my book is coming out in September, but I'm also wildly accessible and available on Instagram, and I do check all of my messages personally, and I do respond. So if there's anything you want to connect about that you feel uncomfortable to speak to other people about, as someone who's gone through a lot of these battles herself, I'm always happy to connect with you lovely girls because I know how hard it is. It's not easy, and I think you guys are all doing an amazing job. So give yourselves a major round of applause for being here today. Thank you.